Pops, your team, Golden State, man. We talking about your team real quick.
Yeah, man, my team is sitting at a strong
10th
number
seed.
10 seed. And you know what his team is sitting
12 seed.
12.
2 games out of 6.
We got them beat right now. That. All I want to do this year is beat the Lakers.
Oh, that's going to be an easy task, though.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about sitting players. Let's talk about resting players.
Okay.
Let's talk about what they call load management, something that I feel like Greg Popovich with the Spurs started some years ago.
Right.
Back when you had Tim Duncan and you had Ginobili and Tony Parker.
Yeah.
Explain this to me. You're going to play in Cleveland, right? Which means you have fans who are going to be coming to that game not just to see Cleveland, but to see Steph Curry, to see Clay, to see, to see Golden State at full strength.
Right.
And you sit Steph, Clay, Draymond, and Andrew Wiggins. 4 of your starters, your 4 best players, you sit these guys out.
Right.
He said, I sympathize, I empathize with fans, but I think that the NBA needs to think about, the players playing less games. Not 82, maybe 72. I disagree. I'm going to get into my take on it, but what's your take?
Hey, man, I disagree. Reason being that, number one, we've been playing 82-game seasons for a number of years. I've seen guys last through those type of seasons. Michael Jordan, man, he's one guy that set a standard with trying to play the most games without being injured. He was injured a couple times in his career that I can recall, but most of the time he was playing. He was playing most of those games. Now, my concern with Steve Kerr saying such a thing is that basically he's not recognizing the fact that you have a pro team that has about 15 players on the team. And you can't seem to get through a season with 15 players. Now, we understand that you're going to play your best players most of the time. But this is one of the reasons why my team and Steve Kerr, I thought, had been rotating his young talent in the mix, trying to get them involved in the offense so they're comfortable on the floor. So then when you get to situations where you have to sit players, which I think sitting a couple players at a time would be the best thing, not sitting 4. Then you would get, let me finish.
Go.
You would get the most out of your team and get those guys to get breaks when they need them. Especially when you got back-to-back games, which hopefully they don't have those anymore. But those were pretty hard on the team. And I understand you're trying to win, you're trying to compete, and you don't want to be sitting at number 10 and looking from the outside looking in because you're not having your best players on the floor winning games because the league is so thick now and so competitive. You have to have your best players in there a good bit of the time if you want to continue to compete.
Oh yeah, it feels like that. It feels like that playoff hunt is beginning to start a lot sooner than after the All-Star break. You see it right now on the Western Conference. We just mentioned it. You got like from seed 5 or like seed 6 on to 12 or to 13. All of these teams are like, 1 or 2 games away from going from 6th to 13th, or going from 13th to the 7th or 6th seed.
Yeah, it's pretty locked in. But from a fan's perspective,
that's what I was going to ask you. How would you feel? You paid your money that you worked hard for to go to a game where you're not gonna. You might not see Steph again. Have another opportunity until next year. Especially with a Cavs and Warriors matchup, they only see each other twice a year.
Oh yeah, man. So I don't agree.
How would you feel?
I don't agree with it at all. Because, hey, look, as a fan, you spend a lot of money for those games. And, like, when we were going to games, we wanted to look and see, okay, what team do we want to see playing that's going to be here in D.C.?
We used to hate going to Wizards games. I'll never forget there was a game we went to, and they were playing Miami. This is back when they had Wade, they had Shaq was on the team, all of that. Can you imagine? And we were sitting in the box. We had box seats.
Right, I remember that. Yeah.
We were invited to the game or whatever. We had this game, and we get there, and we realize that the only player, the best player on Miami side that we're going to be watching tonight is Udonis Haslem. I was like, are you kidding me, man? And this is not when the Wizards were like a great team or anything like that.
Right.
I can't really think about the last time they were like truly a great team.
Well, they were
solid that particular year.
John Wall was on there,
right?
And they got to the playoffs because we went to a playoff game They had a whole lot of energy.
I think this was like pre John Wall era. This was, like I said, this is still when Shaq was on the team.
Oh, right,
so I just feel like we can go see the Wizards at any time because we were living in Baltimore. But we can't see Dwayne Wade and Shaq play anytime. No. And this might have been after they had won the title. So that was depressing to go to find it out once we got to the game.
Right.
So I think about from that standpoint. And I also want to. We talked about this too. I want to bring this up. If a guy's injured and he just can't go, I played sports. I get it. Like, if you injured, it's no, and you really just can't get out there and be effective even for 10, 15 minutes, you shouldn't be on the floor.
Right.
But if you're healthy enough that you just played the night before or the game before, and you're expected to play the next game, why not, instead of resting the player and not having them suit up and not having them play at all, in a situation like this one we're talking about, why not set it up so that, okay, you know what, Steph, minutes restriction. Clay, Dre, Wiggins, minutes restriction. We're just going to limit your minutes. You might play 15 minutes tonight. You might play 20 minutes tonight instead of playing 35 or more. Why not do that opposed to just sitting a player completely when they're healthy enough to go?
Right.
When they're getting paid to play and people are spending their hard-earned money to watch these dudes compete. Watch the best basketball players in the world compete.
Right. Yeah.
I don't understand it, man.
I agree with what you're saying, but unfortunately, it's a couple things that cause them not to do it that way. Number one is it can affect your stats, because if you don't play, it doesn't go against you if you're trying to keep your numbers right. And this is for the All-Stars, obviously. I mean, guys, it's not doing a whole lot. It's not a big deal with them, but I'm talking about your solid players. At least that's the way we used to look at it back in the day.
Okay.
Now, moving forward, it could be a beneficial thing, because like you said, they can still be in the mix. They can still be warmed up enough to have to, if they want to win that game, they can put all the guys in at a certain time to kind of let them go ahead and carry it home and bring it home. I don't think that's the way they look at it. I think they look at it like, when I'm giving you the day off, you don't have to worry about getting dressed. You can just come, sit on the bench, and just rest for the day. Because bottom line is, a lot of people don't realize, if you're not an athlete, is that your knees, your joints, your ankles, all these things take a lot of pounding playing basketball. In your back. And what happens is you're going to need that day off.
But why not do that at a home game? See, honest, I don't like it at all. I don't like it, period.
Because they're looking out for the home fans,
right?
More so than the away fans.
But at the same time, man, especially when you have players like a Steph Curry, man, who's like a global superstar. You watch a lot of these games where they're on the road, and it's like he compared Steph to MJ just the other day, right? Because you could be playing in Cleveland, and you might look into the stands, and you might see Steph jerseys all over the place. Like 25 to 50% of the crowd might be for the Warriors, it might be for Steph or Clay. Right. Well, so my thing is, why not do it at home where these fans are gonna have. They might have multiple opportunities.
They got season tickets and all that stuff, and that makes a lot of sense. I see what you're saying, but I don't think they look at it like that. Sometimes they look at it if they're playing a team that's really good, and they know they're not totally well tooled in terms of having the personnel ready to play. They'll go ahead and just sit all the good guys out. Even if it's a couple more, say it might be one or two that's injured, that's nursing the injury, they'll go ahead and sit the other two out and just kind of like know that game is just not going to be a win. But just let our young guys get a lot of playing time, get some experience on the floor, that type of thing.
It just sucks because at the end of the day, it's like, man, if as a fan, if I find this out the day I'm about to go to a game, if I found out a week before I'm about to go to the game, it's not like I can just go and just get a full refund.
Oh, no doubt.
For that game. When we're about to go to a game together, it's an event for us, man. We're going to get food. We've already switched our schedules around to go and really make this a thing. So now I'm not about to switch. I'm not about to be able to just change everything around again just because 2 days before a game I find out that the players that I was actually looking forward to seeing compete are not going to be on the floor.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting the way because I haven't heard a lot of responses about what Steve Kerr said. I didn't look at any of the sports shows to see what their feedback
I mean, he understood.
was.
He said he understood why people were upset, but he seemed to be trying to put more of the onus on the NBA. You know, as if they would to condense the schedule somehow, this wouldn't happen. But I don't
10
believe
games
that.
is gonna make a big difference, bro.
Exactly.
I don't think so, and I think he needs to back off of that. Hey, look, when we were winning, all was good, but now since we're struggling, don't come out and bring a statement out like that. That's one of the things that Steve Kerr's going to take a hit for having that attitude. But you know, he's come up under Popovich. He was an assistant coach for him.
That's true. He played for the Spurs too.
Yeah, he played for him. So he was used to that philosophy. And we just don't agree with that.
Nope.
And because the fans pay a lot of money for these games, and we need to be able to enjoy
they support
the top
these players
when we go to these
league.
games.
Absolutely.
And that's for sure.
Guys, I'm Karl Nelson II. This is Karl Nelson Sr. right here.
What's up?
Our show, Like Father, Like Son. It's been on the air since April of 2020. Healthy debates, some really interesting topics, sports topics mainly. But we can also get into, social justice topics and different, family, like father, like son topics, obviously. No pun intended. We just want you guys to hit that subscribe button and become part of our world and become part of our community. So we're looking forward to it.
Love to have
Batman,
you.
Robin, MJ, Scotty. I'll do that for now.
Y'all find out the truth when you tune in.